Playoffs are here, and it's a big time of year for the coaches and their clubs. And Howie Zarin, the acting head coach of the Langley Rams, taking a few minutes to join me now. Howie, not the scoreline I think everyone was expecting from Kamloops. The win was there, but a 4-point victory. You guys had to come from behind. What did you see? What do you take from that game against the Broncos?
Well, I don't think we'd take much out of the game, but I think you saw a team that was pretty cocky and thought they could just go up there, get off the bus, get back on the bus, and go home with the 2 points. And unfortunately, Kamloops didn't feel the same way, and they punched us in the face in the first half. And then we gathered ourselves, and then we ended up having to fight real hard for a win. So, all the credit goes to Kamloops for making it a great game.
Any point in addressing that to your team, guys? We needed to be better, or you just say, forget it, we're in the playoffs now?
I think you have to address it, but you don't dwell on it. That's for sure.
Right. So the Rams are hot, the hottest team in the BCFC. Are you guys the favorite to win the Cullen Cup?
Oh no, I think that'd be the Okanagan Sun. They were the preseason favorites, and they've done what they've had to do to fly bodies in, and they're the big favorite. Everybody knows that. As far as we go, I think the Raiders are right there with us. I think it's going to be a great football game between us and the Raiders.
Yeah. Do you think home field gives you guys maybe the little bump, maybe the plus 1.5 if you were making the odd line?
Well, I think anytime you don't have to hop on the ferry to play is a good thing. And also anytime you don't need to play at Caledonia is probably a good thing as well. So I think, if you want to give us the 1.5 edge, sure, we'll take it.
I looked through the matchup, the two games in the season series. Obviously was a split, but you guys got the better of the Raiders in the most recent matchup, and I think that's probably the most relevant and telling. And I've talked to you a bit about that game, but looking more in depth, when you looked at that film, when you saw what the Raiders had, how they matched up against your team, what are some areas maybe where you feel like you've got a nice advantage, some areas where maybe they might have the advantage? How do you break down the matchup on the film and man-to-man kind of?
Well, I think the number one thing is that maybe some people forgot is that Rhett Williams wasn't playing for the Raiders when we had him here in Langley. And it was kind of funny because when we were shaking hands, coaches just shake hands, but I even went up to 24 and I said, hey, man, you run the ball real well. And he laughed at me because he didn't play. And he goes, well, I didn't even play, coach. I said, I don't mean tonight. I mean like all year. So, and I know he had a huge game last week. And, that kid there, he's a difference maker. So, I mean, that's where we got to start right there.
Yeah, it's funny. I was going to ask you, too, what you thought the impact maybe of him not playing in that Week 9 game was. And it sounds like you think it was pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other kid they had ran the ball well. There's no doubt about that. But Rhett Williams is he's the best running back in the league. And, when you lose someone of that caliber, it's a huge hit.
9 sacks you guys had against the Raiders in just 2 games. Was that a result of bringing pressure, or were you able to achieve that with your 4 men up front? And how critical is that to your success, do you think, coming up this weekend?
Well, I think mostly that was from 4-man pressure, and I think it's very important because, I mean, if you let Jake sit back there and pick you apart, that's exactly what he'll do.
Javon Catoy, Max Joseph, Duncan Little, Blackwell on the defensive side of the ball, Claret. These are guys we know, the names you expect to play well. But is there maybe a couple of guys who we don't talk about all the time that you think could be maybe the difference maker? Because obviously Doug Hawking's going to match up against your key guys. But is there a guy on the outside of that matchup you think might make a big difference?
Well, I think a guy like Liam Stewart, who I think's come into his own the last probably second half of the season anyway. He's a game changer at receiver. Defensively, we've got a bunch of dogs, man. We got like Sky King, Cameron Cross, Partap Sandu, Isaiah Iacoli. I mean, we've got a lot of dogs on that side of the ball. So, I mean, I think personally A.J. Blackwell is the best defensive player in the league. But, so people definitely know who he is. But we've got a lot of them over on that side.
24-0. You've outscored the Raiders in first quarters in the 2 meetings this year, and that could just be a stat, and obviously didn't help in Week 3. But why do you think your team has been able to jump out so hot against this VI team that is typically very well prepared?
You know what? I don't really have an explanation for that. I didn't even know that stat, to be honest with you, Dom. You know, maybe Coach Hawk likes to start a little slow. I don't know. You'd have to ask him that.
That doesn't seem like something he would say. I'll tell you that.
No, I bet he wouldn't.
Matchup, Howie. Sorry, what's that?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Okay, Howie. I wanted to get your opinion on the other matchup. I know you're a guy that pays attention. You watch around this league a lot. Okanagan, I mean, I think you're going to say they're the favorite, but how do you like the Huskers' odds of going up there and pulling off what many feel would be an upset?
Well, I think the Huskers definitely have a chance of upsetting the Sun. You know, I think the Huskers have an explosive offense. Obviously, they're one-dimensional, but they're definitely they're explosive. But the Okanagan Sun also has a top-tier defense. So I think the key for the Huskers is don't turn the ball over and make the Sun offense win that football game.
All right, Howie. Well, thanks for this. Enjoy it. Playoff football is the best time of year, isn't it?
Absolutely, Dom. I appreciate it, man.
Okay, thanks, Howie.